Okay, in this one, I want to share with you how to create our own bootable USB media drive for the Ubuntu Linux distro. And we're going to go ahead and start that by opening up our Firefox browser. And I'm just going to go directly to ubuntu.com. And from here, it says your tracker settings. So I'm going to select manage tracker settings. I'm just going to use the essential, hit save preferences. And at the top here, let's select the download Ubuntu dropdown. And then under Ubuntu Desktop, we're going to select this option or this button, download Ubuntu Desktop. And here we are, Ubuntu 24.04.3 LTS, which is long-term support. And we can see this is going to be for the Intel or AMD 64-bit architecture CPU. We have our download button here. And I'm just going to go ahead and click this because it does have 5.9 gigabytes worth of data to download. And real quick, while we're waiting on that to complete, here we go, it's kicked off. I'm going to go ahead and go back and we'll run through the system requirements. And we can see the system requirements. We do need at least a 2 gigahertz dual core processor or better, 4 gigabytes of RAM or memory, and 25 gigabytes of free disk space. All right, and we did kick off the download already, so we can see right here that's running. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and open a new tab. And I'm going to go to rufus.ie because we're going to need the Rufus tool. And here we are. And we can see the Rufus tool here, or at least the interface for the Rufus tool. We can scroll down and see the different download options. So we have the latest release, which is Rufus 4.11. And we can see we have the option for a standard 64-bit, portable 64-bit, standard 32-bit, and standard ARM architecture. I'm going to use the standard 64-bit, so this option here, I'm going to select that. And if I click up here, we'll see that Rufus is already downloaded, and we can see that Ubuntu ISO is still downloading. So we're going to go ahead and minimize, and I'm going to open the File Explorer, go to my Downloads folder, and there we go, we have the Rufus tool. So we can double click just to see what that looks like. And do you want to allow this app to make changes? We're going to click yes, minimize this here. And we can see the Rufus tool interface here. So I'm going to close out of this, open up the File Explorer once again. And if we want to create a quick access icon on our desktop, we can just grab this from the Downloads folder, drag it to our desktop, move that up just a bit, and there we go. Now we can select this to launch from our desktop. And I'm going to go back to Firefox. Let's close out the Rufus tab. And we're going to select the download option here, and we see we're at about 3.3 out of 5.9 gigs. So we're almost there, and we're going to go ahead and let that finish up. And while we're waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and just say that we'll need to get a USB drive ready and just make certain that it's at least an 8 gigabyte drive or larger, of course, because we do have about 5.9 gigs of data that needs to be copied over. And make certain that it's either blank or that you have no important data on that drive. All right, so we see here we have about a minute and 15 seconds left. So we're going to let that finish up. And then once this finishes up, we'll go ahead and close out of everything here. And then we'll go ahead and walk through how we can start creating our bootable USB drive. Okay, so we can see that the Ubuntu ISO is completely downloaded. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of the browser here. And I'm going to go ahead and open the File Explorer. We're going to go into our downloads, and we can see here the Ubuntu ISO. And from some previous videos, we also see our Linux Mint and Zorin OS ISOs. So we're going to close out. I'm going to open the Rufus tool here, select yes. And then we're going to go ahead and connect our blank USB drive. One moment while I fidget with that. Okay. And we can see here, USB, new volume, no data inside. Let's close out of this. It does auto select our drive. So if we have multiple drives connected, just go ahead and select the dropdown and then do an alternative selection here. For boot selection, we're going to do disk or ISO. Hit select, grab the Ubuntu ISO, hit open. Partition scheme, we're going to change to GPT, at least for me. I'm working with a modern setup, MBR is going to be more for a legacy setup. And we can see UEFI, non-CSM. Volume label, I typically leave as default, so Ubuntu 24.04.3 LTS. File system, FAT32. Cluster size, 16 kilobytes. And let's go ahead and start. Right here, that's just letting us know that we can create an ISO USB image or a disk image. We're going to go ahead and go with ISO. Click OK. We're going to get this warning just letting us know that any data on this drive currently is going to be destroyed. We're going to hit OK. And one moment here. And we can see copying ISO files over. So we're going to go ahead and let this run. And through the power of editing, I will go ahead and speed this up and then come back towards the end. Okay, and we're back, and we can see we're roughly at about 97%. And we'll go ahead and let this finish completing here. 99. Okay, there we go. It's ready. So we can close the tool here. And we're going to open up our File Explorer. And we can see that we do have our Ubuntu drive right here. And we're going to go ahead and right click, select eject so we can safely remove. And I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And now we have our Ubuntu USB bootable drive. And that's it.